My name's Emma Payne, and I'm a potter based in London. So I've come to Kyoto in Japan to learn about Japanese ceramics. We're doing a little excursion to Payne. It's a pottery town, focuses on hanagama kilns and wood firing techniques. Our visit in Payne is with Kazuya Kishida. So he was born into a family of potters. His father is a potter just down the hill from here. Kazuya is kind of internationally known. When he was like a young man and was interested in pottery, he came to England, came to Oxford, did a placement with a Pottery, was very interested in the connection between British and Japanese ceramics. And then he kept this alive. While he was in England, he was one of the founders of the Oxfordshire University kilns. So he helped make an anagama kiln in the woods just outside Oxford, which County Hall has done a firing at, and hopefully we'll do another firing with them soon. His work feels quite modern, like a modern interpretation of the Payne wares. So he's taking kind of these traditional techniques and using them in an unusual way to create modern sculptural pieces and also functional ware for different restaurants around Japan. Kazuya is so welcoming. He's got his gallery space on the bottom of a new building where he lives above, and then he's got kind of his studio space and storage areas. This whole collection of little buildings is all his work. I love this burnt technique of the wood. He said his friend is an interior designer and designed the building, which is like his gallery in his house. I feel like its fire is ingrained. He works a lot with chefs, and the building is burned. Everything is to do with fire. So he's got 2 sheds that are for residencies or people to come and help him. So at the moment he's got someone over from France helping him with the firing. They've got a delivery going out to a restaurant in Tokyo. So the kiln is firing at the moment, full of different wares for this restaurant. I've definitely found that in Japan there's a connection between the pottery that you eat off and the food. As the seasons change, the food changes, and as the food changes, what it is served on changes. So it's not just a white dish for everything. It'll be more floral in spring and more darker and earthy in kind of autumn and winter. So they see dinnerware and plates as a framework for the food that you're eating, and it all adds to the experience and the connection to nature of where the food has come from and where the plate has come from. So now off to Rokubei-gama, which is a generational pottery in Kyoto. We're meeting our lovely tour guides, Holai, who is a teacher at County Hall, who's on residency in Japan at the moment. So she is giving us a tour along with Hiroaki, who is the 9th generation at Rokubei-gama Pottery. So he will take over from his father when his father passes the pottery down to him. The Rokubei-gama pottery was started in 1771 with the first Kiyomizu sort of founding father. So it has over 240 years of history. So each generation has its own style depending on kind of the economic times, kind of the new technologies, the developments culturally across the country. So as we look around this gallery space, we can see how changes in Japan have changed the style. So around the time when Kyoto was no longer the capital city and it moved to Tokyo, this pottery and a lot of potteries in the area experienced a change in style as a lot of crafts and kind of money moved away from Kyoto. These potteries had to redesign how they were making their wares to make them more attractive. And then looking at the current Kiyomizu's work, feels very modern, it's very architectural, it's very thin, hard lines. It looks like something out of a modern sci-fi film. It reminds me of the set design and scenery from Blade Runner, just very kind of apocalyptic architecture. It's quite interesting to learn that each new potter is allowed to bring their kind of own style. We've hopped in the car for a journey out to Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Park. Shigaraki is also a town, so a bit like Stoke-on-Trent in England, it's a ceramic maker's town. There's lots of factories making work and lots of shops, so it really feels like a sort of hub for ceramics within Japan. So Holai and Hiroaki are both doing residencies here. So it's a good place to be because there's lots of influence, there's lots of people from other countries that come to make work here. There's lots of ceramic sculptures dotted around the green area, the park, from all the different residencies that have been here. It's been running for 32 years and they've had over 1,000 different residencies. And it's got lots of different kiln types. So there's an area outside with norigama, anagama, wood firing, raku, phoenix kilns, salt firings. It's got inside gas kilns, inside electric kilns. So any type of firing that you want to do, you can do it here at Shigaraki. So it's a very special place to be. One of our wishes at County Hall Pottery is to bring a wide variety of international potters to London. Sort of bringing an international platform into London that we can showcase how ceramics connects us all. The techniques and styles are very different, but the material remains sort of the same around the world. Natural and raw and something you've dug up from the ground. So we want to bring this to County Hall through exhibitions and masterclasses and kind of highlight how communities and cultures share ceramics. In Kyoto and our final potter, we're visiting the studio with caution, and it's a different type of style that we've seen so far. So the Caution Gamma produce quite a bright Chinese type of ceramics. Takeshi Yama is a third generation potter on this site. So he took over from his father, and he's shown us wares by his grandfather and his father, making this kind of southern Chinese technique of using what we would call slip trailing, so leaving a line of clay on the ceramic surface and then infilling with glaze and enamel. He very sweetly is letting me have a go, so he's given me a plate to have a go at this technique.
さすがっす。全然迷わないですやっぱり。これがね、海外の方なんですよ。全然迷わないです。日本の人めっちゃ考えはるんです。こうやってみるって言ったら。さすがですね。
Now, having failed yesterday at throwing, I feel like I'm nailing this.
なんか書けるんや、そこそこ。あんまり上手に書かんといてほしいんですけどね、僕の立場がなんで。そう言うといてください。あんまり上手に書くな。僕の立場、20数年のキャリアが。
I think it's hard. My
まあまあ。
ありがとう。
At least now I can leave Japan on a high, knowing that I have some skills and some techniques. His work, his sort of specific work that he's been making is like firing gold leaf and silver leaf in the kiln. As they go in the kiln, the gold and silver leaf kind of retreat into these globules of dew-like pearls. The slip work feels like a snowflake with this kind of dewdrop of gold and silver on top. It feels very modern, very unique. The whole studio here feels very modern. In their design, it feels like they're kind of breaking away from traditional Japanese techniques and trying out more colourful, more vibrant pieces. Ceramics is really having a boom right now. We do so much on our phones. We socialise through our phones, we order food through our phones, and we don't necessarily physically do that much anymore. Even if you work in an office, you don't print out your work, you just email it off. You don't feel the weight or the gravity of something that you've been working on for months. So I feel like people want to feel something tactile, to feel engrossed in the art of making. So I feel like this kind of second renaissance in ceramics now, sort of during our digital revolution, is slightly aligned with the kind of renaissance of ceramics 100 years ago with Bernard Leach and the sort of machine revolution, as things were becoming less localized and more factory made. Potteries were closing down, so the interest in craft was kind of sought after by people who wanted to look after it and keep it alive and respect traditions and craft. This is more evident, I think, in Japan, as these traditions have been held on to stronger and kind of the heritage is more obvious or more revered. So I hope that we can kind of continue the potteries that have popped up over the last couple of years around England. I hope that they aren't just a fad and they continue for a long time, and that we see this kind of generational interest in ceramics succeed and progress.